Sai Ram. Raghu had been given one choice of choosing the world of success or choosing Swami, and he had chosen Swami. A second choice came during Swami's 80th birthday celebrations in the November of 2005. That was the time when he had a choice between going home for his vacation or staying back and having Swami's darshan. So obsessed was he with Swami that he decided to be in that small select group of students that stayed back for the vacations to enjoy Swami's darshan, sparshan and sambhashan. And that is how in the first week of November, Raghu found himself in Puttaparthi Prashantinilayam. On the 8th of November, after incessant rains on the previous days, they got the good news that the river Chitravati was actually flowing. And so these students sought permission from the warden to go and play in the waters of the Chitravati. Having got their permission, they went to the Chitravati River. They found that it was a gentle stream. It was not very deep. They kept running in the water. They were playing. There were some washermen and washerwomen washing the clothes, but that didn't stop the boys from their fun and frolic. As they played further and further in the river, they saw that some areas the river was more than waist deep. And that is where the boys began to dive in and have fun. Seeing everybody diving in, Raghu also ran on the shore of the banks of the river and ran into the river and dived into the water. It was going to be a fun moment. But that fun moment turned out to be a very tragic one, because even before Raghu's hand could go fully into the water, he felt his head hit against the floor there, a rock, and he felt a severe crunch in his neck. And then his whole body went limp. He collapsed in that water. He was not even able to surface, and he just held his breath because he thought that something had gone absolutely wrong. That is what the other boys outside also understood, and after a while Raghu felt a few hands clutching at his shirt and pulling him out. And as he was pulled out of water, he felt an excruciating pain shoot through like an electric jolt through his neck, and it hit his head, and he screamed out. They made him lie down on the bank there, and he could not move his legs, he could not move his hands, he could not move anything other than his head. But moving the head the slightest brought in such shocks of pain. He said, "Something has gone wrong, I don't know what." The boys said, "It's maybe a lack of oxygen because you were under the water for so long. Wait, get your breath, catch your breath, it'll get better." But it didn't get better. The pain was excruciating. Immediately they hailed an auto rickshaw and somehow carried Raghuram. And even as they carried Raghu, he could feel that pain. He was taken to the general hospital. In no time, the doctors there realized how serious this was, and he had to be taken immediately in an ambulance to the super specialty hospital in Bangalore, where the neuro department was told to be ready to receive Swami's student. In the meanwhile, Swami was informed that her student had slipped and fallen from the steps and had injured himself. Swami created vibhuti and gave it for the treatment of Raghu. Raghu kept chanting Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. He thought that he would get better over the next 10 days and attend Swami's 80th birthday function at Prashantinilayam. But then his turmoil began. When he reached the Bangalore Super Speciality Hospital and he was put in the ICU, that is when he realized how terrible things looked for him. He understood that something terrible had happened with his spinal cord. He had not yet come to know that he had become a quadriplegic. That first night in the ICU of the Super Speciality Hospital was a very lonesome, terrible one for him. He saw many other patients, severe neuro patients lying all around him. It was a very depressing sight. Most of them were not conscious. They were not in their consciousness, but he was wide awake. And he was so scared and lonely. And it was only chanting the Lord's name that gave him succor and courage. He kept chanting Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. The next day his parents came, and seeing them was a great relief, but he could not even embrace them. He could not even raise his hand, and he had to ask his mother to raise his leg to get a proof that his leg is still with him. He could not move his hand, he could not move his fingers, he could move nothing. He could not even move his neck because it had been bandaged so that no further damage is done. The very next day, with Swami's permission, he was taken in for surgery, and on the 8th of November his surgery was done, and for 10 days after that he was in the ICU. It was such a difficult thing for him to accept that he could do nothing other than just breathe. He had to be fed his food, his toilet. He had to undergo a catheter tube insertion for his urine removal, and he did not know that that catheter tube would stay with him for 2 decades after that. Going to the toilet was an issue. Everything had changed in a matter of minutes. Dear brothers and sisters, this is a very difficult part for me to share, the kinds of difficulties that Raghuram underwent. If I am feeling difficult just to share it, you can imagine how this brother of ours went through all of that. You know, after being discharged after 10 days from the ICU, he was staying at Brindavan and hoping for a miracle and hoping for medical science to do something for him. In that 1 month, he developed bed sores because his buttocks were not used to taking the whole body weight continuously, whether he's sleeping or sitting. And these bed sores were so bad and infected that he had to spend next 9 months at the Sri Sathya Sai General Hospital at Bangalore. And during those 9 months, the flesh from his buttocks were taken out and they almost reached up to the bone. It was 9 months of agony, after which he was only 80% healed of these bed sores. So much. And throughout all this agony, it was his mother that stood by him, supporting him, giving up food, sleep, everything, giving up her whole life for the sake of her son's life. He could move only his head. He could not even sit up. Every time he would sit up, within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, he would lose consciousness and he would collapse. He had to just be lying down, but he can't lie down because of the bed sores. Can you imagine this difficulty? And all this is easy to say 9 months. 9 months passed like 9 years. So slow, so agonizing. When Arthur Ashe, the legendary tennis player, was diagnosed with AIDS, people asked him, why Arthur, why did God choose you to get AIDS? He said that among the millions of those who know how to play tennis, only a few thousand ever make it to the top. And over there, only 50 get to play the Wimbledon. And then only 2 get to play the final of the Wimbledon. And only one winner, one in the whole world, holds aloft that trophy. I held aloft that trophy multiple times and I never asked God, why me? Now why should I ask him that? This is the story Raghu would tell when anyone would ask him, why him? He was such an angel of positivity and optimism. He would say, there is a blessing in this. There is something here that I cannot see, and I will not ask Swami, why me? In the summer of 2006, as he was fighting his bed sores in the general hospital, Swami made a visit to the general hospital. And that time, Raghu got his personal interaction time with Swami. Swami inquired about him. Swami assured him that everything would be fine. Swami would take care of him, that he should not worry. And Raghu said that, see, it is because of this that I got my personal one-on-one time with the avatar of the age. How many saints and sages have prayed for generations to get just one glimpse of the Lord. With this tapas of mine, I got the Lord to come to me. That is the positivity angel that Raghu is. It really brings tears to my eyes to see so much of positivity in one individual. Swami told that Raghu must complete his degree, and therefore, with determination that only a true devotee can have, Raghuram Bhat actually appeared for the examinations 1 year later and completed his Bachelor's of Science with honors in mathematics. There was a scribe who would write down the exam papers for him, and Raghu dictated the whole answers sitting aloft for more than 3 hours at a stretch. Yes, that was another victory that Raghu celebrated. Raghu celebrates every little victory because these are big steps for him, and watching that makes us feel that we too should not take things for granted. We should be grateful every moment of our life. Raghu also got many opportunities with Swami when he would come for the thrice session and sit at a designated place just near the door where Swami would exist. Swami would also be on the wheelchair, Raghu would also be on the wheelchair, and every time Swami was passing there, Swami would hand over the prasadam, a mango, something or the other. Swami would tap him on his knees and tell him everything will be fine and keep blessing him. These were beautiful moments with the Lord that this devotee enjoyed. After he completed his Bachelor's of Science, he went for treatment to get rid of the bed sores completely. And now this involved a new challenge. After the surgery was done, he was told that he should be on his stomach only for the next 1 month. And for 30 days at a stretch, Raghu brushed, ate, answered the call of nature. Again, hats off to his mother. Matra Devo Bhava. God could not be everywhere, and that's why he created mothers. Raghu's mother, Raghu says, is my greatest hero, is my God, is my everything in life. She is Swami by my side every moment of my life. She was the one who helped Raghu get through this 1 month ordeal of lying only on his stomach, 1 month only on the stomach. But then the bed sores were rid of, after which Raghu and his mother decided to settle permanently in Prashantinilayam. Raghu's desire to be with Swami was fulfilled, but at what cost? But then that was his choice. That was his choice. He had a choice of going and joining some college outside. He struggled, fought on, prayed and stayed to join Swami's college. He had the choice to go home for vacation, but no, he chose to stay with Swami because he said, Swami, for me, body is not important, mind is not important, the Atma, that is who I am, that is what is most important. Though he did not explicitly state it in words like this, that is what his heart longed for. He made a choice, and Swami granted him what he desired. But then, what a cost, what a cost. Day in and day out, things that we take for granted, running, walking, breathing, smiling. I remember on one day I was complaining about the high prices of petrol, fuel, and how difficult it is that I have to give up my bike and walk to the studio to work. That is when I remembered Raghu, and I thought, oh my God, Raghu will give $1 million if he can get this opportunity to walk. We take things for granted, dear brothers and sisters, which we should not. When he stayed in Puttaparthi, a plethora of brothers helped him in his physiotherapy so much. And in the book Raghu writes, I got to experience Swami in many forms thanks to this injury of mine. I could understand what is the true meaning of seeing divinity in all, because everybody saw their Swami in me, and I could see my Swami in everyone who were serving me so selflessly and lovingly. He decided to spend his time by lending his voice for some of the announcements in Radio Sai. A desire that he had cherished years ago came to fruition as he began to lend his voice. That is when Professor G. Venkatraman, another great soul, about whom in detail I have created this video at this link above, noticed Raghu, and he said, We should not exploit a boy like this. He is doing such wonderful seva. Let us take him as an employee. And Raghuram Bhat became an employee of Radio Sai Global Harmony towards the end of 2008. What a beautiful moment it was. I remember how it also came about. In the very same year, Swami had granted all of us an audience at his own residence Yajur Mandir, and there, as the 8 of us took a group picture with him, Swami said, 8 is not a very good number. 9 is a good number. You should become 9. And that is how GV sir brought up Raghu, and Swami said, yes, employ him. And Raghu became that magical 9 for Radio Sai Global Harmony. He got a motorized wheelchair and he celebrated the ability to move around on his own. He would tie a pencil to his hand and type on the keyboard. He would do Adobe Audition, Adobe Premiere Pro. He would work on Corel Draw, on Adobe Photoshop. Oh, magnificent what determination can do. Hats off to Raghu for doing all that with just karate chops with his hand, because he could not use his fingers. Just as Raghu adapted to this new form of life, he felt that Swami's promise to him was not manifesting. Swami, have you forgotten me? I am sitting daily on the wheelchair there for darshan. You don't even look at me. You go on your wheelchair avoiding me. You had said that all will be well. When, Swami? How, Swami? And why are you not looking at me, Swami? And these were again despairing days for Raghu. Years passed, and then came the 1st of January 2009. On that day, all the alumni of Swami's educational institutions had gathered inside the Purnachandra auditorium, and Swami was speaking to everyone. Out of the blue, he looked at Raghu and beckoned to him. And Raghu thought that Swami was calling somebody else because he's forgotten. The Lord never forgets. Swami called him. And then Raghu did not know how to go ahead and climb the ramp there because his motorized wheelchair didn't have that power. At that time, I got the opportunity to wheel Raghu to Swami, and I witnessed that beautiful interaction between Swami and Raghu. Swami told Raghu, Swami asked Raghu what had happened. And he said, Swami, I am paralyzed from neck below. Swami said, do you speak Tamil or Telugu or Hindi? He said, Swami, I speak Kannada. As if Swami did not know. Swami smiled and then began to speak to him in Kannada. Swami waved his palm and materialized a ring for him and put it on his finger. Raghu said, Swami, can I give this to my mother? Because for Raghu, his mother was everything. Swami said, no, you wear it. And even as Swami said that, his fingers had shriveled so much that that ring simply slipped out of the finger and fell down. Brother Sathya picked it up and put it back on Raghu's finger. And when all this was going on, Raghu suddenly noticed that Swami, sitting on the wheelchair, had raised his foot up to Raghu's knee for him to take Pada Namaskar. So though he was a quadriplegic, Raghu could actually bend his head and touch Swami's feet. Not just that, Swami raised his other foot as well so that he could take a complete Pada Namaskar of touching both the feet. That was just months before Swami left his physical frame. Dear brothers and sisters, as I said in the beginning of the video, Raghu continues to be a quadriplegic as of the time of recording of this video, but he is not the one to give up. He, as I said, has overcome his body consciousness, moved to the level of him being the mind, and I am sure he will move to the level of him being the Atma, and with that Atmic power will one day energize his mind and body completely. He is already a memory coach. He is a memory athlete, having won championships in Maharashtra and Karnataka. He has a phenomenal memory. In order to earn his livelihood, to earn a living for the sake of the world, he has now become a memory coach. at very nominal fees, he has benefited so many children, making them eager to learn, making them happy to go to school, making studies very convenient for them. Please do check out all his details and do enroll in his memory classes. Your children, anybody, even adults, will benefit from his teaching. More importantly, dear brothers and sisters, I feel just being in the aura and ambit of Raghuram is such an inspiration. It will teach more than memory. It will create memories on how one should lead one life in dedication, determination, devotion and self-respect. Yes, even to this day, Raghu continues to make his efforts to walk. He wants to walk, he wants to run, he wants to fly. In fact, he did.
Superb! Superb! Sairam!
You can do it! It's very good!
Sairam, thank you, Swami!
Yes!
Raghu has done sky jumping. No limit. He wants to go and attend game shows. He wants to participate in everything. But he does not want any of these in lieu of the highest, which is a place at Swami's lotus feet. He will do all this, he will try for all this, but he tells Swami, Swami, whether you give me these or not, a place at your lotus feet, you have to give me. Dear Swami, thank you so much for this inspiration, an epitome of determination, dedication and devotion. Dear Swami, please, I never pray like this. Listen to the prayers of Raghuram Bhat. Whatever his heart desires, you know best, Swami. Please grant it to him. May he achieve highest peace and happiness in this lifetime. Grateful to you, Swami, for being a part of our lives. May the love that we have for you in our hearts keep growing stronger every passing moment. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.